Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of The Raven Speaks. I was like just about to say Jashikins, I'm like, wait a minute. Anyways, The Raven Speaks is a series of weekly videos about a variety of subjects. Feel free to comment below to suggest the topic for a future episode. I'd really like to get doing videos that I know you are interested in instead of me going, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Anyways, I had guessed years ago that Daenerys Targaryen would go mad. It makes sense from a story perspective, as it is another reminder that seeking power, even if done so for a good reason, can transform people into something evil. Game of Thrones is anti-war, and so someone who is known as and I was like so excited, I'm like reading ahead of myself. Should realize I do not have that superpower. Anyways, Game of Thrones is anti-war, and so someone who is known as a conqueror coming out with a good ending is unlikely. There is the problem, though, that Daenerys' character arc was done lazily, so her going mad by the end won't be as satisfying. So, George R. R. Martin, speed up those books if, you have Daenerys going mad at the end. So, I need my fix. The first few parts of this video will cover common misunderstandings people will probably have since I support Daenerys going mad. I cannot cover every misunderstanding, or else I would need to make just 2 separate videos. The remaining parts will be showing the foreshadowing that was obscured in plain sight. Part 1. I'm not anti-Daenerys. Online, I've seen many claim that if you support Daenerys going dark, then you are someone who hates the character. My feelings towards her are extremely complex. Sometimes I adore her, and other times I loathe her. Sometimes I pity her, and other times I hardly care. Sometimes all my emotions about her exist at the same moment. I guess the simplest way to say how I feel about Daenerys is she isn't my most hated character. I still care about her journey. She has come a long way from her early days as an abuse victim. Part 2. Stannis isn't a great guy. Some people have been crying sexism because they claim no one dislikes Stannis Baratheon. Okay, what they're really saying is no one is calling Stannis the Mad King, so that means it's sexist to call Daenerys the Mad Queen. I am happy when people realize social justice, but in this case, the concern is misplaced. The majority of people don't like Stannis Baratheon and believe he has many flaws. Myself, I see him as a tragic figure. He went seeking the Iron Throne because he thought it was the right thing to do. Along the way, he started going down dark paths until he was so far gone that he killed his only daughter. Stannis is a victim of power overtaking him even when he started down the road on good intentions. I call the dark version of Daenerys the Mad Queen in reference to her father Aerys. He was nicknamed the Mad King. As Stannis is Baratheon and not Targaryen, I don't see how the nickname Mad King would work. Part 3. Cersei is a villain. For some reason, whenever someone says bad things about... Sorry, I get too excited. I'm like trying to read every line at once. And sorry again. For some reason, whenever someone says bad things Daenerys has done, some people chime in that Cersei has done worse, that Cersei isn't being blamed like the Targaryen is, that this proves someone is a hater of Daenerys. What those people forget is that Cersei is a villain. Half a villain is doing villain things and having fun being a villain. I will be amused. When she blew up the Sept of Baelor, I cheered because of the majesty of the scene. So, why hold Daenerys to a different standard? When someone says, when someone is a hero, they are held to a completely different set of standards. If they do bad things, they need to feel sorry for those mistakes. They need to show that they are trying to become better people. In the case of anti heroes, they still need to have a moral center to them. Daenerys is not supposed to be just another ruler. She is supposed to be the hope of a new world. Her repeating past wrongs goes against what she is supposed to stand for. Okay, I'm going to take a moment seeing if anyone's watching this live and chatting group chat. There. Okay, no one's chatting. Okay, and let's continue. Part 4. A disregard for the history of a people. In Essos, Daenerys was confronted with the fact of slavery. She saw innocent people in chains and decided that should stop. So she put her feet down and eradicated the practice in Essos. It took a lot of effort and bloodshed, but eventually her task was complete. While making slavery illegal, she disregarded the history of the people. But this doesn't seem to be bad because her enemies are slavers. So why not metaphorically burn that history down? To want anything other than that means you run the risk of being okay with slavery. In Westeros, Daenerys also disregards the vast history of the continent. She demands people forgive her past, both her personal and her family's, while not doing the same to others. She demands Jon bend the knee while waving away the whole history of the North, from the original Aegon conquering the Seven Kingdoms to the more recent War of the Five Kings. Plus, in Westeros, she is seeking to make allies, while that wasn't her main concern in Essos. Daenerys has always disregarded the history of a place, but the negatives of that stance has been hidden until she got to Westeros and interacted with other characters we loved. Part 5. I was about to say part 3. I have a BA in English because I can't do math, even simple counting. Part 5. Strong Woman. Daenerys had to contend with being a woman in a world that centered around the strength of men. She was worth so little that her brother was able to trade her to Khal Drogo for use of his army. So seeing her rise up to the position of queen was empowering. She was able to rise above her position of woman. Because of all she did, it ensured she would never be abused or demeaned ever again. Because the story of empowerment is intoxicating, many viewers couldn't see how close to madness she kept on getting. All they could see was a strong woman kicking butt and taking names, and that is always awesome to see. Part 6. Raw Power. Essos and Westeros have two different ways of political maneuvering. Essos is based more around raw power, especially with the Dothraki, while Westeros is based on political scheming. So far, Daenerys has proved to have an innate ability for raw power. She can use forces to scare others and therefore gain power for herself. The majority of time she was in Essos, and so viewers were shown the positives of this way of political maneuvering. It is only when she's in Westeros that the glamour wears off. We see that using raw power has the side effect of making her unstable. One of the reasons she is getting aggravated that no one is, quote unquote, respecting her is due to the fact she doesn't understand why raw power doesn't work in Westeros. She has shown an ability to adapt, which is the only way for her to both survive and get the Iron Throne. Speaking of the Iron Throne, Part 7, Goal of the Iron Throne. Only if you already like Daenerys would you want her to get the Iron Throne. This is the accumulation of everything she has been fighting for. Since the beginning of Season 2, she has decided to conquer the Seven Kingdoms. Daenerys has seemed to deserve the Iron Throne because of all her hard work from seasons past. But it is only with the latest season that we see how getting the Iron Throne has overtaken her senses, how it has become the only thing that matters and a dream that brings comfort. As Dario said before, she is a conqueror. She doesn't have a clear idea of what will happen after she takes the Iron Throne. Part 8. All the clues were there. Daenerys going mad didn't come out of nowhere. The clues to her madness were there for many seasons. It was just that her madness was hidden under noble intentions. The clues were hidden under things many viewers wanted. Now that her madness is affecting noble characters, there's a divide amongst the fandom. Some people already loathed her, and so are using her madness as an excuse to hate her. Some people love her and are denying she's mad. Some people love her to the extent. Sorry, Sorry there. Some people love her to the extreme and say there is nothing wrong with burning King's Landing, and every character who doesn't love her should die. Huh? Anyways, and then there are people like me that adore the complexity of Daenerys. The only thing truly wrong about her turning mad is that in season 7, it seems as if her character development was erased. This messes up the character development that needed to happen to give us a truly compelling story of a hero turning villain. Like, writing this episode, I just realized how much I could actually go into the psyche of Daenerys. And anyways, what do you think about Daenerys going mad? What camp do you fall in? Do you already hate her and so you're going, of course she's turned mad, this sucks? Are you saying she isn't mad? Are you saying that uh, that you agree with burning King's Landing? And like, if like, just for this, I want to see the burning of King's Landing, just like I want to see characters die in a slasher movie. It's, a bad thing for a hero to do. It'll definitely show a villain turn for Daenerys, but I'm still sort of want to see it. But so, do you want to see the burning of King's Landing and that reason, or do you just hate everyone in King's Landing and that's why you want to see it burn? And how do you view Daenerys again? Do you view her like I do, as an extremely complex character? Just comment your feelings below, and yeah, we can start a nice nerdy conversation. So I don't have to annoy my husband, who does not watch the show, and I will just randomly start talking about the show. And so, yeah. Well, yeah, I can get calm on the internet, but real life, yeah. If you're around me and I'm in a talkative mood, I am talking. Also, what other subjects would you like me to cover in future videos? It doesn't have to be Game of Thrones. It can be Animorphs, Star Wars, any other fandom I'm in, and I'm in a lot. Although my most active ones are Game of Thrones and Animorphs at the moment. So comment down below. And if you're watching this on the YouTubes, please like this video if you are excited about seeing, Daenerys turning evil. And yeah. And also, I am this Raven Speaks, as you know, goes on once a week. I am also doing episode reviews of this latest Game of Thrones season, and I will be doing a season review once, the season's all aired. So, subscribe so you don't miss out on any Game of Thrones content. And if you're watching this on my Bloggity blog and watching on the desktop version of my Bloggity blog, please choose the follow by email option so you will never again miss out on a blog post by me. And I just don't do these Raven Speaks episodes. I do Josh Reads. I have little bits of fan fiction out, long posts, and I am just nearly done outlining the latest behemoth. And then I'm going to take a break and then slowly start to work on that. Because it was one of those projects, you start going, oh, this will be fine. It'll be a little hard, and then you're not even halfway through, and you're like, holy shit, what the heck did I get myself into? But anyways, the next episode of The Raven Speaks will be on another Wednesday, and since final season of Game of Thrones is going on, it's probably going to be Game of Thrones related. But if something else pops up, if there's finally a reboot of the Animorphs TV series, Animorphs is my alma mater. I'll just have to. I have low standards, but I fucking have them. And until next week, goodbye.